Hey everybody, how's everyone doing today? Unfortunately, we had an emergency come up in studio for No Static Radio, so I still wanted to come live with you guys with the Clevelands. Today we are gathered with Alfred Cleveland and Roberta Cleveland. Alfred was wrongfully incarcerated here in Ohio for decades and was granted parole miraculously, which we know Epic fights parole continuously day to day. By the grace of God, he was granted parole by the parole board system and is currently fighting for his wrongful conviction. Beside him is his wife. Today, I wanted to make everyone aware of their book here. It's three strands, one cord. It's a couple's guide to understanding incarceration. Today we were going to be in studio and hopefully give away some autographed copies. They still wanted to make that available to those that are watching in. We have dropped the number and the email at the bottom. So if you are interested in an autographed copy of their book, please call or email them, or you can order it off of Amazon as well if you're in a rush and couldn't wait like me. Go ahead, you guys. Let's hear your story.
You know, you're pretty good at this.
Thank you.
So, I'm Alfred Cleveland. This is my wife, Roberta Cleveland. And I'm just blown away by the simple fact that I'm here with you and hearing you. As I mentioned earlier, it was just like I was watching my own wife.
Aww.
Prior to me getting out and her talking to people and fighting for me. I was able to see that in you. And it's kind of like I really need to just go back and just marinate on it. You know what I mean? Just think about it, because
hopefully it gives you a newfound appreciation for her.
it does. It does. I mean, it's
work.
constantly getting deeper and deeper and deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And just thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you for having us.
No
Really
problem.
appreciate it.
Like I said, I was excited. The first time I reached out to Alfred, I was a little busy. I get overwhelmed a little bit too many times, but I stayed persistent, and I told him I want to get you guys in the studio. And then after that, I seen the book, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like even perfect, because we've been promoting a lot of the books from, those that have been incarcerated. Basically, trying to change the narrative that we have many entrepreneurs inside these institutions. We have a lot of talent inside these institutions, but unfortunately, regardless if they're wrongfully convicted or not, they're not given the opportunities to show themselves. So we definitely appreciate stuff like this. We definitely like to promote it and put it out there because we want to show people that there are, in fact, not only wrongful incarcerated people in there, but in fact, people that are deserving of change, and that are willing to do anything and everything that they can to be a positive impact to society. So,
and the thing is, like, when we wrote the book, it was about my 20th year in or so. That's when we started, and we just knew we had to do something to help the couples that were coming behind us. Because when we started doing time, it was in Mansfield. And the phone calls were sky high. Everything is sky high in there. The trips back and forth, the vending machines, clothes, food, commissary, everything, lawyers. They come with this, hey, I'll do this, 2,500.
For start.
Oh, yeah, 5,000,
start.
Right.
Magic number 5,000, you know what I'm saying? That's a red flag for you guys. When a lawyer, no, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. But, I don't know. But look, we wrote the book to help couples going through it because we didn't have anybody to help us at that time.
Right.
Yeah, counseling's not a thing for married couples with incarceration. Like, this year's been extremely tough out of the last 6 years that I've been doing this last bit, this last time with him. And it's been extremely rough this last year. And it was to a point where I was like, damn, do we need counseling already?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But where and how and who,
That's
what we got this for.
That's where we come in, because we even have a curriculum that we haven't started yet because of COVID. But while he was in there, we had started doing it there, and we offered counseling services
Oh, nice.
through our curriculum. So yes, we
Well-
know. Yes.
Well,
yes.
we Epic, even adjusting lives, healing hearts, and by any means, will definitely like that information because believe in me, we do all we can to try to assist with whatever type of problems. And you know, marriage is a big thing, you know, and
Yes.
it definitely keeps a relationship definitely keeps someone that's incarcerated on their toes. I feel if you know my husband, if it wasn't for me, God only knows what he could be doing now. You know, because you know he started as a juvenile. He had to fight to get where he's at right now. It hasn't always been peachy keen. He's not one of those model prisoners that I spoke about earlier. You know, back in the beginning, he went through some stuff, but I do know that since I've been in his life, that he's a very changed person, and I feel that all it takes is a wonderful woman or a wonderful man, that bond, to change things.
Right. And always choose that love.
Always choose love. Yeah, absolutely.
So explain that, man, because the people might not know what you mean.
I say that because no matter what you go through, whatever situation you have at hand, you might not see eye to eye on quite a few things. Just know that that's going to happen. You know, you're going to have your trials and tribulations, but you always choose love.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you agreeing, disagreeing, know that when that disagreement comes, that I know he's going to love me regardless.
Right.
He's going to choose to love me even though we're not agreeing with one another. You know, so let that be the basis, that love.
Correct. I agree.
Right.
You have to confirm it.
And when you have that, you have a solid foundation. You know that, you know, no matter what comes, this person's going to be here with me. And that's going to mean the world to you. And yes, you're going to continue on with your relationship. You're not going to have those doubts like, we breaking up, you know, is she going to leave me? Is, you know, no, I know she loves me. I know he loves me.
Yeah, once that foundation's there, it's pretty hard to break.
You know,
so.
you get
it's all about keeping it together,
Right.
keeping it structured.
When you have that argument, you know you're going to have that disagreement. My husband, he would always say to me, you know, we're not breaking up. We're not speaking of divorce. Well, we're going to disagree. I know we're going to disagree, but we have to put this on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his way of telling me he's choosing to love me. And I loved it, you know. And in my heart, I always choose to love, no matter what.
I got a question for you.
I like that.
The question I have is, and I'm sure many people out here want to know, what makes a woman, what did God put in you to make you want to make the sacrifice that you did and be in a relationship with a guy who was a lifer? You know what I'm saying? Because some people, they got all of these preconceived ideas about why a woman might do that. So you speak to them and just shed some light on that. What will make you do that?
All I can say is you should be God-centered always. You know, in whatever relationship you go through, put God first.
Mm-hmm.
And with God being first in my life, I know he put me with you. And so I was determined to let nothing and no one come between what God had for me, which was you.
I like it. I like it. I can relate though. I can relate.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you
Right.
what.
You know,
I've went to church. You know, my grandfather was a preacher. You know, growing up, it was, you know, always those doubts and, you know, is this true? Is that true? You kind of had to find out for yourself. And, you know, as I've been in this relationship this last time with him, I've gained more faith. I've gained more belief. Like I believe, like I said, those signs. You know, I
That's
trust
right.
in God. I know in God's great timing, He's bringing my husband home.
That's
you know?
right.
So I stay patient, I stay hopeful, and I keep faith. And he also has became a man of faith within this last rodeo with us. He used to say he would die in prison. He was never coming home, you know, and he's been in there since he was a juvenile. Right. So he would always say, you know, and then, you know, as I started fighting and finding things, you know, it changed his whole perspective. He became hopeful. He had faith. Just
God
recently,
gave him
you know,
what he needed.
sharing that information about the lawyer and stuff, it put new hope in him. Like I found a new attitude in him. Like, you know,
Right.
it's happening.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it is all about being there for one another and not being selfish or arrogant and just looking at what makes you feel good or what makes you feel good. It's about coming together and making each other feel good with one another as a person. You guys are one.
Right.
So like I said, I just started reading the book, and just in the beginning I was like, OMG, like when these prison wives start hitting me up and start saying, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna screenshot something for you real quick and send it. Whether you take it or not, it's on you. But this is the real deal right here.
Yes, because we really went through it. I mean, we have a new chapter now. He's home.
He was incarcerated. Let them know for how long?
25 years.
25 years, y'all. He was incarcerated for 25 years, and this wonderful, strong woman held him up.
Yeah.
And it's
something
still,
I didn't do. Something I did not do.
Yes, incarcerated wrongfully. Yes.
So,
And that's what's crazy is hearing stories like that. It seems like it's always three guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are all these stories sounding the same?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I also want to talk about something in the book that we talked about. It's called shared vision. You know the disadvantages to a relationship under these conditions, like can't be with each other, et cetera, et cetera. But there are actually some advantages, and your love can actually thrive in this environment.
Mm-hmm.
And we held on to this one simple idea by a gentleman named Miles Monroe, and it's called shared vision. So all couples, whether you're in or out, should have a shared vision, some things that you're hoping, some place you're hoping to be, or where you see yourself,
Right.
or whatever, as a couple. But when incarceration, it's built in because you both want freedom. You both are thinking about the house you want to live in, the trips you want to take, the food you want to cook.
Absolutely.
So you're fighting towards that. He's fighting, you're fighting, and you both on the same page.
You're
both
driving in
sharing,
the same car together.
Yeah. And when you reach certain levels, you have to even renew that vision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about intentionally. Let me move this.
Well, yeah, because there's different levels, different levels.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what happens in a lot of relationships, even out here. They forget to, okay, now we're here, we made it here. Now what? And then things start to die down. But
I'm just gonna say, that brings to mind something we did. It's called we call our Cleveland Constitution,
Okay.
and that's where you sit down and you tell each other what you need from each other, and it's gonna change because once you get to the point where you are at a different level in your relationship, your needs are gonna change.
Absolutely.
But y'all need to address those both. You always have a constant reminder when you write them down of what each other need.
Mm-hmm.
And we call ours the Cleveland Constitution, but
wrote them down. Yeah, definitely wrote it down.
Ours will be kicking it with the Kennys.
All right.
Yeah.
That's going to be our podcast when he comes home. Trademarking it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, a relationship, whether it being on the inside or the outside, is a two-way street. It's not 50-50. It's 100-100. You know what I'm saying? If I'm giving you my all, I need all yours back.
Right.
And that's just how it should be to work to, and more importantly, communication.
Right. And that's I'm going to say what you're saying. It is. You're supposed to give 100%. But when you go to a different level, like they've been gone for so long, and then you come home, it's going to be different things that you're going to experience together. And sometimes you might not be able to get that 100%.
Oh, no. Right.
So you're going to have to learn how to, still put in your 100% and pray and try to work towards that other 100%. And it might be on each side. It's just that it's a new environment. You're going through new different things, and it's another level. So you're gonna have to work even harder.
Yeah, I won't lie. Because obviously we know my husband's been incarcerated for 20 years, and whenever he decides to get out them gates, him coming home is going to be obviously a major adjustment. It's scary.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, because you don't know. Like right now everything's perfect. We love each other. There's nothing we wouldn't do for each other. But once he's home, and being gone for so long, it's, what's going to trigger him.
Right.
And when it does trigger him, how am I going to react? You know what I mean? So it's to me, I feel like that would probably be the hardest adjustment is them coming home. Am I correct? It's not the
Yes,
happiest.
that's
No, I mean,
what
it should be the
it
happiest.
is the happiest, but then you,
Sorry, Alfred. I just have
it is
to.
the happiest moment, but then it's kind of I don't want to say scary, but it is.
The adjusting.
Yes, because
I'm not, I, no, 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 no. I'm
I think I don't
learning.
think I asked the wrong thing.
because it's a whole new world. It's a different world for them and you. You know,
Right.
I've lived by myself for 25 years, almost 30 years actually. Even before he was incarcerated, we knew each other, but we didn't really live together. Then we married. We've been married 22 years.
God bless you.
And it was, oh God, it's a man in the house, and it's simple things, even though, you think, oh, I'm going to have all of this fun. It's going to be nice. But I was like, oh, I'm gained weight. I'm not young no more. I don't want to look, you go through those things and you don't think about that at the time when, home, we would, you go through so many different levels. So
Trial
many different
periods.
levels, yes. So that's that's all I'm gonna say about that because that's our next book. That's
Or
our
like
next
I
book.
mean, and I want to say something about that. I mean, because when you're in prison, they give you all these programs to prepare you for reentry.
Right.
But how do they prepare you guys? You know what I mean? Here it is, you just drop a guy. Did 25 years. Hey,
There
drop
you go.
me in
He's
the
all
home.
yours
You
now.
know,
Yeah.
it's kids there. Everybody got their own minds. It's just crazy. So I think there should be some more things that help the families,
I agree.
help prepare the families, and I'm talking about intentional, a concerted effort. Because I don't know. I know we're hard to deal with. Being in that environment, I mean, you talked about triggers. When I first came home, one of the triggers was a soup. This day two, we were in an Airbnb with all my grandkids, and I opened the refrigerator, and it was a ramen soup in there.
Oh,
And I didn't know. I'm talking about, and it wasn't like a lot of food there, but that ramen soup stuck out. And I was like, yo, who put this here? Like, who
like,
Yeah.
what are you guys doing? You know what I mean?
that's my husband. When I come home, I don't want to see no ramen.
Yeah.
My girls love their ramen.
Right. The grandkids love
They
that.
love it.
But the other day, I had my grandkids, and it was lunchtime. I was like, what you guys want to eat? And they were like, ramen soup. And I sat there and thought about it for a second. I was like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. You know what I mean? But it did help. It helped me to know that I was healing. You know what I mean? Like,
It didn't bother you.
It
as
didn't
much.
bother me, and it tasted, it tasted all right. You know what I mean? It tasted all right. So
Especially since you get to taste so many other things now.
yeah.
Different acquiring taste to
Yeah.
it now than it was back then.
Yeah. So
No, and that's me. Like, right now, my grandma would always lock the screen door. Okay, my kids think I'm the weirdest thing ever because I lock my screen door. I'm like, it's one more way they have to get to come in through the door, right?
Right.
What's the sense in having a lock on a screen door if you're not going to use it, right?
Mhm.
So the one day, I told them, well, when Anthony comes home, we're going to have to make sure the doors are locked. We're going to have to watch keeping lights on.
Right.
This obviously there's going to be certain things that are going to trigger him that you're going to be like, well, why? I don't get it. I don't understand it. But you have to remember he's been gone for so long, so we have to be considerate and compassionate
Yes.
of what he has been going through and help
Yes.
him get through it. So, like I said, it's as much as I want my husband home. It's just it's like how do we prepare ourselves?
Yeah. I want to give you one tip, though. When he does come home, because we've been in an environment with so many people, he's going to be longing to just have those moments where he needs a little space and just to think and to, just alone sometimes. So when I needed that, she took it the wrong way. And then she's like, oh, you
just don't want to be around me.
Yeah.
I'm getting on your nerves already.
It was like, I'm like, no, I've been taking showers next to people, going to the bathroom next, sleeping side across, like, and we dream about a day that we can just, be in a log cabin somewhere, or just be out, you know. And a brother's, you have to be like in tune with him enough where you know, okay, this is a time where he needs a little space.
Mhm.
I mean, you got to be tuned in because you can mess up the whole little, and it's not really that serious, but it can turn into something because we don't want to hurt you guys. But if you don't know what it is, you think that
Right.
we're funny acting, but we need our space. And I'm noticing that this with a lot of incarcerated guys. Like the more I talk to them one on one, yeah. So
No,
it's not
I
just
get
me.
it. No, because sometimes I'll be a brat and tell my husband, "Oh, what? You couldn't call me all morning?" You know what I mean? Because I'm used to him.
Right.
You wake me up in the morning. So
Yeah.
when you don't call me in the morning, to me that's a problem. But to him, it's just like, babe, I went to rec. I did this. I helped a buddy out, and I'm just like, you get to see them all day. So I totally get where you're coming from. And like I said, I've been working a lot on myself just because I am a spoiled brat. He is a spoiled brat. So, we're used to a certain routine. So when that routine's a little altered,
Yeah.
it triggers us.
Yeah.
It makes us think, well, who's he talking to?
Right. Communication. That's all it takes is communication.
Who's he giving his attention to? He ain't calling, no, it ain't that bad. Me and him, we like to joke and mess with each other, but I already know he'll never find no one else that loves him as much as I do.
Right.
And that's what it, like you said, it's all about love. At the end of the day, it's all about love. So,
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we wrote the book. People always ask us, how do you guys
the
make
book
it?
again, guys.
Yeah.
3 strands, 1 cord.
Yeah.
Get it on Amazon. Down at the bottom of the screen, we have on the banner a number you can call and an email to get in contact with them to get an autographed signed copy today.
Yeah. But just not that. If you guys got a situation, anybody out there, you guys got a situation, and you're dealing with somebody that was incarcerated, call. If we can help, she can help. Call, man. We got time.
The signed copy is the same price as the original.
The signed copies are the same price as the original copy that you would
Yeah.
get on Amazon. It's just a special one to you. So I definitely recommend you guys calling that 216 number, 216-777-6070, or emailing them at cs@clevecostudios.com. If you shouldn't miss it because it's right there. Reach out to me if you can't figure it out, and I will definitely put you into play with the both of them. Yeah, I'm very excited that we finally got to meet. I'm sorry that it wasn't in studio, but Miss Roberta will be in studio with us at No Static Radio here soon.
Yes.
She's excited.
Yes.
But yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys. I appreciate what you guys are doing. As you said, there's not very many opportunities for those that are involved. I don't want to just say married while being incarcerated. We all go through mood swings, whether it be PMS for women or PMS for men, because they do have prison mood swings, just saying. But when it gets to that boiling point, who's there to help? You know what I'm saying? How do you figure each other out? How can you compromise without being able to sit down face to face and read each other's body language and see each other? Doing it over the phone and through letters, it's what I feel like pulls people apart. It's too much for them. They can't do it. I've had enough. But if you really truly love someone, it shouldn't be that much of a battle.
Choose love.
Yeah, choose love.
But it's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not.
I mean, because sometimes people are young. They don't. Who you talk to help you navigate this or to make those type of decisions?
Right.
You're going to sacrifice your whole youth because this guy's in prison, and a lot of time because of choices that they've made.
Right.
We had a unique situation of a wrongful conviction, but that's very unique. You know what I mean? I'm talking about incarceration, period.
Yeah, right.
But so I don't know, man.
Just ladies have to make sure that this is a decision that they want. Don't be enticed by your partner. It has to be truly your own decision. You have to want to be there. And for the most part, ladies do want to be there. They already made that choice when they walked into this relationship. Hey, this is where I want to be at.
Right.
So, and don't let family try to, pull you apart.
Ooh, that's a big one,
friends. A lot of times with ladies in a situation, they're alone. You're not alone. You have the number, you have the email.
There's
Give
no
us a call.
excuses.
That's right. Give us a call because we've been there. We could put you with people who, is in the same shoes as you.
Support.
That's right. Your support groups.
And that's the biggest thing, especially when it comes to family, is realizing who supports and who doesn't. Anyone that doesn't support what you're doing is not going to be beneficial or positive for your relationship, period. So I'm not saying that you should totally get them out of your lives, but be careful what you share with those people.
That's right. Get them out.
Find more like-minded people. I know there's a lot of prison wives groups, which I don't really get too much into. Like I said, it's a lot of back and forth. Those prison wives groups will do nothing but ruin your relationships. Do not ever listen to another woman that you feel just because they're in the same shoes as you, that they're telling you to do right. Because it's not. Everyone's different.
It's sad. I found that a lot of those prison groups bash each other.
And then reaching out to the other, other people's, it's trashy. And that's why I said it. They got to be careful.
Even though they're in relationships with people that's incarcerated, they have no respect for the people they're in a relationship with. Mm-hmm. I sit and read the little messages going back and forth, telling me, he's talking about, I need to do this. I'm like, this is your husband, this is your man you respect? You talking about him like that? Why that's not healthy,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, my husband's very old school. He does not like anything that him and I are going through to go outside the house. Right. He feels anything that happens between him and I is in our household. It doesn't, even with the kids, don't even take it outside. So that was something that I had to learn because, I've been in a relationship before and you know how it is. You get in a fight with your man, the first thing you're doing is running to your girlfriend. I don't do that no more.
I don't have that either.
I don't do that no more.
I don't know about all that.
No, I'm just like,
if I got an issue, I'm J-paying it up. But you really have to be careful, who you tell what.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because not everyone, especially when it comes to this type, whether you're wrongfully incarcerated or not,
right.
People frown upon it.
That's right.
And I've had friends who have asked me why. You're crazy. You can have any other guy and it's like that's my heart, my whole soul, my everything. Like he's the one that I continuously ran back to. That means something.
When you run across people like that, they really don't respect you. Because if they really did, they would respect whatever relationship you're in, knowing that that's what you choose and that's what makes you happy. They want you to be happy. They would respect that.
Absolutely.
But they think that they're helping. They think that they're doing right by her because they're trying to help her wake up and get out of this relationship and live your life. You're wasting your life.
No, that's not help. That's my whole point. That's not help. If you see me happy and you truly want me to be happy, you will support any decision that I make in my happiness, knowing that I'm happy. You can't tell me you want me to be happy and then rip me from where I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, you have to watch out for those people. They're not really, even family.
Them snakes.
Yes.
They come slithering.
What chapter is that? The snakes.
First chapter. We go right to the heart of that, man.
Yeah, I definitely recommend everyone to please go out and support them and buy this book for sure. Like I said, I've been starting my incarceration book selection, and they are my first one that I promise you will give me all kinds of tips for my relationship, even though I think I'm a pro with my husband. But no, I did. I read the first couple of chapters, and I was seriously just, I'm going to tell you what really got me. It was the first couple of pages. Oh, look, snakes right there. I found it. Page 2, actually. I think it was about the snakes. About the dangerous games. The dangerous games, which I know there's a lot of ladies that are caught up into that mix, and it's not healthy either.
Right.
But like I said,
can we expound on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dangerous games.
Dangerous games, y'all. Y'all want to know about dangerous games?
So, dangerous games are, for instance, when just you saying, okay, I'm going to send this food box or this clothes box, for instance, and you don't send it what I want you all to understand is when you tell a guy incarcerated that you're sending something, it's like we have nothing else. Yeah, everything's good. We have nothing else to do but wait. So we're thinking about it. We're looking for passes. We know that the system screws around and sometimes they make things hard. The package might be up front. Sometimes a guy might owe somebody a few items, have a bill he has to pay or something, whatever. Um, like, be honest. If you didn't do it, don't say you did when you didn't. Or sometimes the family members will get money from one of the guys incarcerated friends, and sometimes you got to pay a bill and juggle whatever. But the guy incarcerated might be waiting on the money. You know, he might be waiting on the money, have things that he has to do. Um, so just be upfront if you have to use the money. We want to help you guys. Guys incarcerated, we want to help our girls. We want to help our families. So and we're very creative. So just let us know. But when you start playing games, then it can put the guy in a very dangerous situation because it's prison. And guys take small things very seriously as principle and all this kind of stuff. So he can be in a dangerous situation. So just be honest as you can. Be honest as you can about the situation. So that's dangerous games.
Honesty is always the best policy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honesty is always the best policy.
Yeah. So man, this is an honor. And look at this right here. It's a guy in prison, and many guys in prison, but his woman is out here doing things like this, fighting for him, fighting for guys incarcerated, like met us, drove around at a radio station, creating organizations, and here we are, like, so guys inside. I don't know if this will ever get to some guys inside, but like, dude, you gotta appreciate your people more, appreciate your woman, man, and have more gratitude.
My husband thinks I'm Wonder Woman, so he appreciates and adores what I do. So I mean, he every day he blesses me and he tells me what an amazing job I'm doing, and honestly, that's what keeps me going. You need that positive enforcement. So
it is superhero-ish.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Well, it's God put me here.
Yes.
That's what I feel. God put me here not just for my husband's sake, but for many others. And like I said, I've been doing a lot of work for my husband's case solely on my own, and now that I know that he's in good hands, I can step back and start working for them as a whole. Parole reform is my biggest parole reform and juvenile initiatives. Now, we just passed here in Ohio a new juvenile bill. Is it the best bill? No, absolutely not. But there was one that was passed, so we got to wait a couple more years. Now it's time to tackle the parole aspect of it. So I feel like within the next few years, we'll be able to break those gates for a lot of people that were deserving to come home many years ago. So.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm glad that I have you guys on board, and I'm glad that we finally got to meet. Like I said, our story is not over yet. Comma Club.
Comma Club.
Well, I would definitely like to get something set up with a bigger seminar, kind of, even Ruel, Amy, the two of you, Larice, all of them, Ricky Kidd and his wife as well. I'd like to put you in contact with them. I love them. Ricky did just go through triple bypass surgery, so he's kind of down for the count right now. They just had a baby and everything like that. So he should be back to work soon. Yeah, many prayers for the kids. But I love them. We got the opportunity to meet them a couple years ago, and he's been doing a Freedom Lap tour. We did it last year. He went to like 15 different states to raise awareness on wrongful incarceration. He's really big with the Midwest Innocence Project. Also even told me, with Mark Godsey, he'd do any footwork. He'd fundraise, he would do anything and everything he could to help my husband come home. So, and that's what it's about. It's about building together in unity. You know what I'm saying? Not one person can get everything done. It's going to take a whole village. When they say it takes a village, it takes a whole village and an army. So.
And just for you, it was a guy named Dewey Jones. He passed away, wrongfully convicted. I do Joe from the East Cleveland 3. I remember being in a child hall with Joe and him saying, like, give me the information to another group that fight for wrongful convictions, because he was tired and You gotta have real patience.
Carlos Ridley. That was one of our correspondents. He was the one that passed away of COVID last year. OIP had his,
Yes.
yeah,
I heard
they
about
were
that.
waiting on the DNA.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. But I'm saying you and your husband, when you're waiting on lawyers and innocence projects, they work. They got top-notch people there on the job, but these things take time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you know, there's gonna be days where your husband is gonna be in there and he might want to give up, go find somebody else, go hire, another attorney and make all these moves. But I remember Joe told me that, and it was just like maybe 4 months before he got out. He really wanted to make find somebody
You have
else.
to be patient.
You got to be patient. So you got to stay on your knees too. You got to
Right,
fight this
right.
battle with the law, with building a team like you're doing, but you have to do it on your knees simultaneously, praying, man, like, God, like, how long, when, you hear me, what's going on?
And
like,
you have to pray for yourself. You cannot have everyone praying for you. If you ain't praying for yourself, then prayers from everyone else goes absolutely nowhere, you know?
He hears.
He definitely does. He definitely does. So.
And if you don't have faith, sometimes people lose their faith. This is a tough journey, man. They're like, I don't believe in God. I don't want to hear that. I understand, but
honestly, I don't feel my husband ever believed ever up until recently. Oh, I did for sure. And now he knows. Like now he does. You know, I know
he's shining through you.
I know he's praying. He has the nuns at my his aunt's church. They have a candle lit for him ever since he's been incarcerated. Like, he now knows that in God's great timing he's coming. You have to stay patient. In His great timing will be home. Because honestly, they'd call me tomorrow and say, "We're letting your husband out right now." I'm not ready for him to come home. My house still needs some getting together. You know what I mean? Like, no.
Sometimes you need him to come home and help you get it together.
Yeah, no,
right?
Well, I think that might be what I'm waiting for. But like I said, in God's great timing, it will happen. Like I said, I tell a lot of people that are in this journey now that haven't been doing it for as long, because a lot of people tell me, Gina, you're an inspiration. You're strong. You're this. You're that. One thing I do not do is when my husband and I are having a bad day, people on Facebook don't know. Family don't know. Right. I push through that shit like we're perfect.
That's right.
We ain't got no problems over here. We're Gucci. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it's all about, is keeping your business to yourselves and pushing through it together as one, not with everyone around you getting in the middle of it and pushing you this and that way. Right. This life's hard.
It is.
You did it for 25 plus years. My husband's been incarcerated 20. This last rodeo, we've been doing it for 6 years. Lucasville, Trumbull, we actually just got off of, right before COVID started, I was restricted. Nothing we did. There was someone sitting at the opposite side of the table doing some things under the table they shouldn't have been doing. We all went down for it. They tried to indefinitely ban me. I fought it, got 6 months, but it overlapped to COVID. So 524 days I went without my husband. We got married on 10/10/2019. Finally, after he told me he would never get married in prison, finally was the one that dropped to his knee, asked me, and once I seen he was out, I was on it. Like, I jumped on it, Got married, seen him sweetest day, which was 10/18, and then that was my last visit with him up until recently. And now we're behind barriers and stuff. But if you ask me how I got through them 524 days, I couldn't tell you. Because I'm gonna tell you what, if it would have been an outside relationship and I had to go 524 days without seeing my person, I wouldn't have been able to do it, I don't think. But that's why I know that he's where I'm supposed to be. He made that easy. We couldn't see each other, but we still pushed through it. It was hard. There were some trying times. Mm-hmm. Wanted to choke him a many a times. He wanted to pinch me a many a times, but we pushed through and we made it. And we've had 2 visits so far. I said they're not the best because of how they have the institution set up with all these plexiglass or whatever, but just feeling his presence and seeing him there, no black eye, no busted lip. Mm-hmm. He was all in one condition, still same weight, wasn't skinny. It was everything to me. Right. Even though we couldn't hear each other, we had masks on, plexiglass, just sitting there and staring at him did everything for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people now are like, oh, no, no visits. I'm not going to visits. Do y'all realize what those visits do for them?
Yes.
And does for us.
Yes.
Like once you're there, you
That's
get it,
right.
you know? So I encourage everyone to please go visit your loved ones.
Yes.
You have to.
Yes.
Answer the calls. And that's my husband, nobody wanted to talk to me today. Nobody wanted to answer the phone today. And you know, that right there, that breaks my heart, you know, because I wish I could just be there every 20 times you called to answer the phone. But it makes me mad that even though he only randomly reaches out to certain people, why aren't you answering? He could need you, you know, so it's hard.
Yes. Very hard.
Regardless if you're in a relationship or you have a son, brother, sister, any type of incarceration, you know, having a loved one that's incarcerated, the bond is always hard.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you talked about narrative. I don't know if you ever heard this organization called FWD.US. All right, they work on immigration reform and prison reform.
Okay.
But they do a lot of research and statistics. It's 7 out of 10 adults have somebody incarcerated for over 10 years or more. Like, so it's like, it's not such a stigma on incarceration like it was just 10, 15, 20 years ago. People are affected by it all across this country. So, I mean, when you spoke about getting ideas across, educating people, you know, just keep at it and know that people are affected by it. They got a nephew, they got a brother or a sister, somebody incarcerated. So it's not as hard as it used to be. But I'm not doing the work that you're doing. Like, so, I mean, I'm not on those front lines like that. But
you are, because your story is getting out
I am,
there.
man.
So, and we're going to make sure that we help that. So.
Yes,
I can't let it go. I can't let it go.
But you still, even being out, have a huge fight ahead of you.
Yeah.
I mean, let's keep it real. You know, yes, you were gracefully granted parole, miraculously by the parole board, which we know is dirty in Ohio.
Yeah.
It's definitely time to fight for that compensation, and that's the problem. Is, you know, did DRC do it just so that you couldn't get take it back to court and compensation? Because you know we all know about immunity. People are all like, "Oh, abolish qualified immunity." No, how about absolute immunity? How about we start holding these prosecutors and these judges accountable?
Amen.
You know, and this is the thing: they catch a prosecutor with misconduct, and they don't pull them.
Right.
They continue to let them
Work on the case.
prosecute. You know, you already screwed up once here, and probably twice or 3 times because it's just not out there yet, and you're still continuously letting these people prosecute.
And I believe it's not going to be no real change until they're held accountable.
They have to abolish immunity all the way around, qualified and absolute. One thing that bothers me the most, I guess, is, you know, we are all citizens of the United States. You know, there are 50 states, but the penal system, the United States penal system, is all one system. Why do we have each state making their own laws, this, that, and the other? Like, you can go to jail for this over here, but you can go to prison for this over here. Like, we are all in one country. Why are we allowing our government to pull us every which way and make their own laws to make us criminals? Slave catchers, because the 13th Amendment is still real. So that's why they're getting away with treating individual states the way they want to. And I really feel like once we abolish the 13th Amendment, that right there, not that I feel anyone will ever be treated equal, because there's always going to be some type of craziness going on with all of that. But I really feel like any type of reform, whether it be prison reform or treating people with equality, is we have to get rid of not get rid of the 13th Amendment, but abolish slavery in the 13th Amendment so that there's no slavery period.
Right.
You know, and then we work from there. Well, we have 50 different states. We're all in one penal system, but why does each state have different criteria? You know, like Ohio, it's horrible.
Yes.
But then I have guys in Mississippi and guys in Alabama, and it's like it's no different there, but their laws are different. You know, you got the habitual offender laws and this, that, and the other. So a lot of work needs to be done.
A lot of work.
A lot of work needs to be done.
What things are changing? Yeah.
People are starting to wake up.
Things are moving forward. Not fast enough, but they are moving.
But the quicker we can come together in unity, I feel like the quicker change is on the way.
Yes.
Even if it's a small change for now, it's on the way.
Yes.
And you talked about parole reform, and you're a big fighter for that. You
Huge
know,
fighter.
you familiar with the Reagan totes?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't they just make that retroactive?
Because they don't make anything retroactive.
But is that on your agenda? You have that?
We don't want the 3 laws. There shouldn't be 3 laws.
That's what I'm saying. You know, so now if a guy gets 20 or 10 or 15 to life, at 15, if he hasn't been in anything illegal or anything, he can get out at that 15 years. You know that with this new law.
Well, see, I haven't had anyone that's gotten out on the Reagan tote check.
Yeah, so that's the deal. It's predetermined. At the 15, if you haven't been in any trouble, you leave out. So, but if you haven't, you still have that life tail or whatever.
Right. And
I'm
then
just
it'll
saying,
get to the pro board.
they need to back that up and
They
just
need to make it
across the board
retroactive.
one thing, man. So these guys who
Have
had
been
20
in
to
for
life,
30, 40.
you 30, 40 years, what are you doing? What's
I
going
have
on?
my husband's. He had a cellie, Tommy Pander. He's been in for 30, 35 years. He's 75 years old. Been in since 1993. Was sentenced 10 to life, and he's still in fact in prison. Was just flopped in January another 3 years. And it's horrible. He's fragile. You know what I mean? Like, he's a model prisoner. He never seen the hole until COVID, when they had to quarantine him. And even then, put him on the floor with no mat. Just gave him some blankets and a pillow, and there were 3 guys in that cell with him. And a hole, and solitary. So, yeah, but that's definitely what we're trying to do is parole reform. And then, you know, the whole abolishing the 13th Amendment, that's what we're very strong on doing right now. And then with the umbrella of spreading love unapologetically, our biggest goal is obviously reentry homing. Because we have to provide resources out here and in there in order for them to come out and be productive. And, you know, and that's my biggest thing now is communities have done away with helping people, whether it be homeless people, incarcerated people, or just moms. The churches used to be really big with helping people. They're not doing their jobs anymore. You know, we have churches in these communities for a reason, and if you're not doing something for your community, you gotta go. Plain and simple, you know. So
prison ministry is.
we need programs. Yes, we need programs. We need ministries. We need resources.
Yeah.
You know. So
what can we do? What do you think that she and I can do to help you?
Just being there right now. I have a lot of, like I said, projects up my sleeve, trying to find some more time to get some things done. But, you know, just raising awareness and educating by any means possible, however we can, whether it be getting together and putting a big conference together, or the radio gig, or, you know, sharing each other's things, and,
like
you know, keeping in contact. Yeah, like I said, Epic helps those that are willing to help out us. You know, we support, for sure. We support, we promote, and we are out there boots on ground. Like I said, last year we did, we did rallies all the time as was, but when COVID hit, we did a tour of We Will Not Be Silenced rallies. We went to every single institution besides to Lucasville and Southeastern. Actually, we did go to Lucasville. Southeastern was one of them that we didn't go to, but we were on ground every Saturday at a different prison. Basically letting them know that there are people out here that do care about you and are fighting for you, but basically spreading awareness to the communities that COVID's here to stay until we address it in the prison. And, you know, staff's going in and out. And half of those staff members don't live in the communities they work in. So not only are they affecting the community that they work in, they're now going to the grocery store when they get home, and they're affecting their own community. So that was what we were trying to do, and it was facts, you know. Now they're starting to vaccinate and this, that, and the other, so hopefully we can get some type of control in the prisons. We know that they haven't been forthcoming with the numbers or anything like that from the get-go, but truth of the matter is we had staff going in and staff coming out.
That's right.
But, you know, they're prisoners. Who cares?
Right.
They're human beings.
Yeah, and that was evident, and that was felt. Like, I really saw that. You know what I mean? Like, they don't care anything about us. Like, we might die in here, man. That was the scary part, man. I saw the COVID going down the road. You know what I mean? Like, was crazy. But you're a badass.
Thanks, Alfred. I appreciate it.
You
I'm
are.
serious.
I'm so glad that we
You are.
finally got to
Right.
sit down and talk and chit chat and meet. And I'm excited for our future endeavors. Honestly, like I said, I want to keep in touch. This doesn't have to end. Like I said, we do this every week, every Wednesday, 4 to 6, normally in studio. Sorry about today, but we still made things happen, and that's all that matters. Even when you're hit with the curveball, you still figure
right.
it out. And
That's right.
yeah,
That's all
so
that matters.
I'm excited. Like I said, if anybody needs to get in touch with them for an autographed copy, we have it at the bottom there. Or reach out to me if you need. But same price if you get a hold of them, and they will autograph it for you, just like that.
Yeah.
Any last words?
Yeah, I'm go ahead. But I just want to pray for the family, man. That's all right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
So, Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you, Lord, for this meeting, for bringing us here safely. I just want to pray, Lord, today for this young lady and her husband, Lord, that they be encouraged throughout this journey, Lord, that they draw closer to you to get to know you a little bit better, Lord, and that you keep them, Lord, under your wing, under your safety. Keep your angels around them, Lord, to protect them, Lord, through this fight. You know, it's much adversaries and naysayers in these situations, Lord, that get you discouraged and want to have you down, Lord, but keep them encouraged. I want to talk to the families. I want to pray for the families, Lord, that you keep them encouraged while their loved ones are in those places, faced with COVID, faced with time, faced with denials, faced with parole board denials, judicial denials, all this heartache and pain, Lord. Keep them, Lord. Keep them encouraged. Keep them in the fight. Hold them, Lord, and their children. And thank you, Father, for blessing us to have this opportunity to be out, Lord. Just give it to these families. Give it to these families. Let them experience what we're getting a taste of, Lord. And I just thank you, Father. I just thank you. I'm grateful. I want to pray this prayer in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' mighty
Amen.
name. Amen.
Thank you, Alfred. Thank you, Roberta. We definitely appreciate you guys being here with us. I said this is not the end, just the beginning.
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Spreading Love Unapologetically. Please share, and make sure you're ordering that book. 3 strands, 1 cord. Have a great evening, everyone.